and get an idea if there was any clues just from a chart standpoint that the market was turning over, and giving you an opportunity to maybe get out of some positions, or take some stuff to the short side. So I'm just going to start by drawing some lines. This is a 2-day. It's actually the max amount of data on Thinkorswim, but what we have here is a market that was orderly, that just kind of blew off, and then we saw the other side of what happened. So I will act like we have, say, this much data, right? So early 2000s, let's say 2001, 2002, we finally bottomed 2002, 2003, and from there, once we cleared these highs, it was kind of the all clear to put money, or I should say that long money starts to work again. So, you kind of mark out your swings like we've done, and you can kind of see the price has this rhythm to it, and you kind of just draw, you kind of go like that. Let's see, let's extend it. Let's change the color so we have better visual. All right, so price is clearly on this path, and every time it comes anywhere near this vicinity, you want to be a buyer for a continuation. And something that's easy to do is just duplicating that line and just seeing the other side of it. And in general, you can see every time we get up to this level, this uptrend, although it's not perfect, you can see it was a good time to not be buying. You don't necessarily have to sell, but definitely not be buying. And so the market's in this rhythm in 2006, and then all of a sudden it starts to break out. So zoom in again. So when this breakout, you see we break out, we come back in, and now we're just kind of oscillating around this line, and it's proving to be an effective line where you have the buyers come in, and they're proving support, and they're supporting the breakout. So price continues to go, kind of build a support ledge here where they're really starting to push. So once we had an orderly flow, now we're starting to see some more aggressive buying. You can kind of see what's going on. Draw the trend line, let's see. All right, they flush it. So all these pushers that were aggressively buying, they got flushed out, and the market kind of reset here. So you have a little bit of resistance on the line. All right, so you see something like this is interesting to me, where you have this flush through and then the flush back. So something I would do, all right, so you could see it was kind of support, it's kind of like a range. So it was support, 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 take off, the flush through, and then resistance. So that's something interesting. Also, definitely need to mark these lows. So we'll kind of mark it as a range for now. That was obviously important. Let's just again assume that we don't know that the market's going to roll over, even though it's we know. So we're into 2007 here, the beginning of 2007. Rough couple days in February, Market kind of figured itself back out. Notice we retest not only this uptrending line, which has been resistance, it was kind of resistance again. They zoomed it back through and retested this zone and successfully supported it. And then all of a sudden we have new highs again. They zoom the highs and then they really start to push it again, pushing. Wow, they really are pushing this, all right? So this was obviously an important low here because we made a new high, so that matters. This is just momentum players playing momentum. All right, sell off. All right, so you see the support that's now been created in this range. All right, so we have the range supported, new high. These are smaller swings though. This is, this is not the same as this. It's more like, what we got right here, the pushers. Support, new high. And then they flush it through. All right, so the new high was not supported and they took it out. All right, so let's zoom out a little bit so we can see. That'll be a big picture. All right, we have the high that was taken out. We'll remove that. All right, this is obviously a level, but kind of when it was built here, we flushed through, we retested, back down, and then back through and up. So maybe we get something similar again. And this uptrending support acts as something, all right? They sell into the strength. You can see that. They bring it up in a 2-day span, and then they sell into it. All right, support. They're picking at it. All right, they're trying. Now they're into this support area. They're trying. And then they flush it through. All right. So let's zoom out so we can see. All right, so they tried to hold this as support, and then they completely rejected it, which is different than this because here they made a higher low. So we had our support, we retested it, and then we had a higher low, and then we swapped price. So we swapped the sellers for buyers, and we made new highs. This time we made lows. We made lows, retested, and then we made new lows again. And now we're back into this support zone. It's a good short-term trade there to pick up at a level like this for a bounce. Back under this resistance level, this trend line, we don't completely know if it's still relevant or not, but it has been, and it even kind of was here before it flushed through. So let's keep going. Let's see. Pushing it back up, back into this resistance. So far, they're selling it. All right. And you see how they zoom it back through? So it was solid support, then it became resistance, then they zoomed it back through. So this level 1500, it has meaning. The lower part of the range is under 1400, and the highs are 1560. Let's see if we make new highs. We do. So we make new highs, not by much so far, but we make new highs. This is kind of your line in the sand, 1500. If we hold that, then the buyers are clear. All right, they're rejecting it so far. Holding, 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 holding through. All right. So they push it through. Retest, small retest, but failed. Now they're pushing away again. So these highs, this area is definitely some resistance. There's definitely some selling pressure here. We're kind of working off. So this is kind of the psychology and how market participants play. So we have orderly flow, and all of a sudden we have this blow off where price accelerates, and after it's done with this move, it has to work it off, right? Just doesn't continue. At some point, it's going to work off, and we're kind of seeing that here, where price is. It's cyclical, right? So you're seeing the swing. They're not stepping up like they were, and now we're seeing a little bit of rejection. So we're retesting again. So they're trying. So they're trying. Maybe they're trying to do something like this, where they're developing a higher low here. All right, we poked it through 1500 so far back through. All right, gapped up to 1500. That's weird for a continuous contract where it trades 24 hours. All right, into 1500, and then they sell it off into, so now we're into 2008. So people will be looking at this, so we'll extend it. And we kind of have our highs. This is a little concerning. And the reason why is because, we're far off the highs, which isn't, okay, it's not like the worst thing, but it's like 1500, definitely got to get back above that eventually. Let's see. All right, so they didn't really care about this trend line to start the year. They didn't really care about this trend line. They broke it. We'll leave it for now. Kind of resistance. They're selling into the level now. All right, definitely resistance. Something's changed. All right, so you feel that the something's changed. It's not doing It's not doing this. It's not doing this, and it's not necessarily doing this. We're starting to break down something we haven't done. We've always made higher lows. We've always stepped up. Even here, we stepped up. And then this was the first time that we tried to step up, and then they flushed it. So this is something different. We even broke this this trend line that's been support now for, what is this, 4 years? So stuff like this matters. And then you get people who start to manage their risk, or they just start puking stuff up. They're greedy up here, and now down here they're fearful. So we have this support. It's still support. This could just be a flush out, and then we recapture. So we got to watch it. So that's the flush, right? So you see there was no real buyers, and then they just really give it up. And everyone that's wanted to sell sold. And you get this snapback. It's probably going to be pretty violent. All right, we retest. We're retesting resistance. They're picking at the any dip right here. Back through. All right, so you see the buyers may have thought like, okay, we're recapturing. Maybe I can buy here. Not so fast. The sellers are proving they're around. So obviously this is your line in the sand. Let's see. New lows would be pretty terrible. And then you want to see it basically get back into this range, right? Buyers are thinking, all right, we flushed out weak hands. This was overdone. Kind of looks like a top, where it's just like a lot of big bars, sloppy. So you definitely want to recapture trend. You want to get back above this support and then hold it for buyers. But something's definitely changing. All right, buyers are trying to step up here. Probably a decent long off these levels. You know, but you're holding your wrist close. All right. Now this is kind of worrisome. They're testing it again. You kind of would just want to see it like recapture this and not retest. All right. See how they try to hold it, and then this is them giving up. So they try to hold. They try to hold. The sellers are just selling it at resistance, selling it. And remember, this is big support here. You're talking about 1 year's worth of support, and now they're selling it on the other side. All right, so this is buyers giving up. Still haven't made a new low, so that's not a bad thing. All right, the buyers are trying again. All right, see how they gave it up? They swapped it. Sellers took control of this level, retested the lows, but nothing yet. But this is definitely, it's not something you want to be buying. All right, they're trying. They're probably gonna push it through now. You know, you can kind of see them stair stepping already. So if they break out, you know, you're immediately looking for the top end of this range again. That looks good. Nope. Trying. Bang. There you go. All right. So it ended up being a valuable level where they didn't really zoom it, but they retested it, and then they did back into resistance. Sellers are trying. They're not really getting anywhere. All right, a little bit, but buyers are still picking at it. All right, sellers win. Now this is retested it again. They're pressing it up here, but not really getting anywhere. All right, finally they take some shorts out. Right back. See how this isn't like constructive price action? There's no, I mean, yeah, they're pushing it up, but it's nothing special. All right, let me zoom out a little bit so we can see. All right, so let's look at something like this. So what are some lines that some traders would be looking at? So they probably draw this, and you see it went through. So that's buyers thinking, all right, we recaptured this support. You know, we oscillated below it, pushed through, but this isn't like a definitive breakout here. You know, it's kind of just like sloppy, muddled through. That's something to be mindful of. We do have, you know, this is something. We do have like something changing here. You have like a new frequency. I won't put too much into it now, and this is also a good idea. All right, so we're kind of creeping back towards 1500. We're still the first of the year, or the first trading day of the year, was the highs for the S&P still. So we haven't even recaptured that. We're still down on the year. All right, so we're trying. Definitely got to hold, right? So extend to the right. So something you may want to see is a retest of like what was resistance, retest the support zone. All right, into it. So this is a big deal here. So we really want to see buyers step up. We want to see that they're here to stay. So they're trying back through. See, this isn't encouraging really, that this is all the buyers have to offer. And we gap down. We gap down again, and then we kind of recover. So this is like last line in the sand. That's what it feels like. And then they just, this isn't good. But they should have stepped up here. They should have, what was support, resistance should have been more than this. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it's got to be more than that. And then You feel the buyers giving up here. They're giving up. What should have been support here wasn't. They broke it. You know, they sold into it. Kind of resistance again, right? So they suckered traders in here thinking, okay, it's a breakout. We have, you know, we're seeing something here. Maybe the market, you know, flushed out and now it's back to what it was doing. It's not doing that. And you can feel them just give it up. You know, buyers tried here and nothing. So all of a sudden, you start to get a little bit panicked. You got, you know, some cheap players that are trying under lows. Trying. All right. I think we can do. I'll leave this line because it's kind of still relevant. But you can see, all right, they're trying. So they're trying to recapture this level. Right. Trying, and they're trying. They're stepping up a bit. They're stepping up a bit, and then they give it up. So this is definitely a market that's changed, and changing with it is difficult, but you're seeing some confirmed, let's see. Confirmed swings here. Extend to the right. Okay, I'm gonna fix this for a bit. All right, so I connected the highs now. All right, I'm now going to get rid of this because they're no longer relevant. Right, so we saw the highs we put in. We saw it act as resistance. You know, this major support act as resistance, and then they kind of fake them out, and then they flush them. All right, and let's see. All right. So now we have this leg, right? And this leg, and it's that big. I'm gonna duplicate it. I'm gonna duplicate it. Let's see. All right, it's about that big. So now we have a swing, right? Let's see. So what if I do? I can draw two ways. Can we draw it like this? And we see we're testing the backside here. Maybe I could add. Let's see. I'm gonna add two. Just see. I've never done this, so I don't know what it's gonna look like. Oh shit! Hold on. All right, so I have this upsloping line, which doesn't really have, you know, if price is moving lower, then the upsloping line won't do much. One thing that's cool about this is you can keep the pivots the same, and you can just change the slope. So that's something that's interesting. But I'm gonna leave it as is. I'm gonna leave it The standard, we see it's retesting, it's failing. And we get pretty darn close. Oh, damn it. All right, we get pretty darn close to this this extension here. But you can feel the change, and you could kind of sense it really starting around here. I mean, you could feel the change. It would be it's difficult. It's very difficult to manage that change and be disciplined and understand it from the standpoint of, if you're a long only trader, it's time to have a lot more cash than you once did. And if you're looking for a bottom now, obviously you can put money to work as the market drops, but to follow price and to be a little more disciplined on what price is doing and better time your money in your investments, dissecting price is going to help. So this is interesting here, right? So I'm curious. Let's see how I do it. No, that's not going to do it. All right. So the market's dropped from, say, 1600 down to 1150. That's a solid sell-off from peak to trough so far. Price bars are definitely getting very volatile. This is obviously a time where there's bank news coming out, and bad things are happening. So you see, you're starting to see panic, right? You saw a little bit of panic here, and then recovered. And this was pretty orderly. I mean, it was definitely some selling. It was selling pressure, but it was just consistent. They worked it off, and then it's starting to really get volatile. People are starting to lose it. All right, they're supporting this extension. That's pretty cool. And they support it for a day or two. And then you see that they're just giving it up, puking it. That's man, that's tough. But nothing really said buy, right? So you want to see levels. This is an interesting level, but it hasn't broken anything yet. You can draw a line like that, and it hasn't broken anything. All right, so I connected some more lines. It's not quite. No, not quite. But I just connected these lines just to show that the magnitude, the velocity, the velocity of this move has really started to step up. And this is a point here where it's tough to, you want to see some type of confirmation. I guess you don't have to, but from a timing perspective or like a confirmation perspective, you want to see some type of prices breaking some lines or whatever to show maybe it's ready to reverse. Down here though, it's like after this type of move, it would be extremely tempting if you have money to be put to work to be buying, you know, 2 extensions off of the swings here. And now, just because we know how violent the sell-off is, I'm going to now put one more. Let's see if it touches that too. All right. So we see, prices in despair. Bars are getting bigger. People are just puking up their value. What they had up here, and what were probably good investments. They're just, the market cycled and it peaked, and you had a bunch of bad news that came out, and it had to flush people out. So you can see they just continue to, this is now just sloppy, big up and down. All right, they go down. This is still irrelevant. You're still seeing price stop at these levels. So they support now the 3rd extension. And just no sign. So it's a little more orderly now. You can see that they gave it up here, and then kind of like a new chart began here. So you could almost mark out your swings, although it's quick. This swing, let's see. This swing is as big as this one. Close. We'll leave it just for reference, right? So you would think the buyers, after all this, right, are the buyers going to finally try? Let's see. That was a good level so far. Still can't get above this one though. And it did break through. I'm going to extend it. All right, so they're testing the other side of it. So this would be a level. I'd be, you got to be interested being long here. I'm also going to draw this. Just to draw it. Buyers are trying. This is definitely a little more orderly. And then they just kind of give it up. They had support here. They were trying. That's really all they had. And then they really just give it up again. All right, so they still kind of testing the facts. I mean, I know this is the market low here, but we went from, all right, this is kind of orderly, panic, tried to turn, tried to hold this. I will do it one more time. This is probably getting a little carried away. All right, so we have 600 down here. And when you don't get it, we retest. This is definitely more orderly. I kind of leave this line. This is kind of the line that I like right here. I like that. I like the retest of that. We can recapture this, maybe, right? Sell off. All right, we're really getting up to it. I mean, this is pretty much, it's like the same height. It's just the velocity of it was different. But that's a pretty good swing. We failed to touch that. All right, some resistance. So this trend line matters, and this third line. Breakout, retest, 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 retest. All right, it's not doing this anymore. Yeah, you can draw like that if you want. It's not doing that. It failed to get down here. Definitely failed to get down here, which is different. We recaptured. We got above this trend. So let's zoom out. See what that'll happen. So we worked our way down. And we broke this resistance. And all of a sudden, the market appears to have bottomed. So then you would start to mark out maybe levels that, and then this is going to be it for this video. Kind of mark levels. All right, they sold into it here, kind of back to resistance. They flipped it, now support. So that's kind of like your confirmation that you can start to risk money, and then you kind of put your stop, in this range, because I would kind of consider this to still be relevant. And I'm just going to zoom out to see how relevant the lines remain on the way up. So they ride this higher. This was actually, they kept it as a trend, and they broke it. So the other lines still have, an influence. I bet if I zoom out, so from all that, this line still mattered, even on the way up. And obviously, it's not going to be as accurate as time goes on. But that's pretty interesting. That the original line, right, we get back up to it here, almost to the tick. And we sell off. Wow, that is actually fascinating. Look at that. Wow. So, wow, this is cool. So support, blast off, and see how we went? It's the same cycle. It's this high velocity where price takes off. And look at, are you kidding me? It retests to nearly the fucking tick and sells off. That's cool. That's really cool stuff. So yeah, that was the market sell-off. I think it's easier said than done, obviously, but if you just watch price with no intent, it'll show you some cool stuff, and it will help you manage your risk, which I guess is all you're really trying to do.